Hello, hello. This is Kimberly from 101 Domain, and welcome to our webinar discussing SSL. So today we're going to talk about encryption for your business, and we're going to go over the very basics of SSLs and how you can make the best choice for yourself, for your business. And that is me, Kimberly Darwin. On the left, I'm a senior corporate services executive, so I deal with the corporate business service area of 101 Domain. And also presenting with me is Yev Churinov, and he is the hosting team lead. He is the expert on SSLs. So before we begin, we will send you this recording afterwards. If you aren't able to attend or weren't able to attend, we will have this recorded for you. There is a question and answer time that you may submit at any time, and we will deal with the questions generally at the end of the webinar. And also there is a white paper. We did send that out to you with the invitation. However, we will send it again so that you will have some information to share with your team about SSLs.
All right, well, hello everybody. This is Yev. Today we're going to go over SSLs, as Kimberly said. Thank you for the intro. Just want to go over what SSL is, how you could tell if it's being used, and what are the visual indicators that Chrome or your browser are going to show, why it's so important to you and everybody visiting your site, the different types of SSL certificates, and our new partnership with Sectigo, the largest secure certificate authority in the world. All right, so what SSL is, it's a protocol that secures your website. Whenever you go to a website, this all happens in the background. You go to a website, it figures out, the server responds with the certificate is available, use this to secure everything, and then from that point forward, everything between you and the server is encrypted. What's it really though? It makes it possible to make sure that everything is secured. A lot of personal information, browsing history, credit card information, things that you don't really want others to see or others to mess with is secured and makes it impossible for other people and hackers to read. What are the benefits of SSL? It inspires trust, it boosts your SEO. It's very important to get high rankings, and SSL definitely helps that. It increases trust and conversions and future-proofs your website. More and more changes to Chrome are enforcing SSL and making things very obvious if you don't have it. So some common ways of seeing if it's secured, seeing if you have an SSL, you'll see HTTPS in the browser in the URL. You'll see a padlock, and it's often green now. If you have an EV SSL, you'll see a company name listed in the address bar as well. And you could also commonly see a site seal somewhere on the website. So over the last few years, SSLs have been gaining popularity. Chrome and Google have been really pushing for that. In the past, only a handful of, 3% back in 2016 were encrypted. Then they started initiating a lot of changes to the way that websites are displayed. And as of 2018, Chrome and Firefox report that most, 78% of websites are secured and are loaded through HTTPS. So again, why is it so important? Most people are using Chrome, and Chrome has been making changes to display whether a site is secured or not. Chrome is using more than 59%. It's gradually growing as to being the #1 browser. And like I said, it's really pushing for SSLs and showing different warnings if it's not. Most people are using Chrome and Android browser. So ever since Chrome has been making changes to enforce SSL in 2018, most pages are being loaded through SSL. some of the indicators. If it's not secured, it would actually say in words not secure. Depending on if it's got a problem with the certificate or it has a form, it will show that differently. You know, if you have a website with a storefront or you really want to attract business, if you really have a problem with it not being secured, it's basically going to scare a lot of people off, saying don't shop, don't go here, don't enter your credentials or credit card number. So as of 2019, if there's a problem with SSL certificates, if it's not there, it will display any different variation of these warnings. So that big red flag, it will say in the browser bar that it's not secure. If it's a real issue and it's misconfigured, it might not even let you navigate to the website without hitting proceed anyway, unsafe. So you really want to make sure you have your site secured and double check that it's working as you want it. So SSL certificates can be complex. There's a lot of different kinds of SSL certificates and a lot of different levels of validation. So we're going to go over those real quick. The first is the general single name. Most people use this for basic websites. Common SSL certificates cover both www.domain and the root domain, so domain.com or www.com. They don't secure other domains if you choose domain.com, but you can use these individually to secure a subdomain if you'd like. Wildcards are very cost-effective if you have a lot of subdomains or you like to split things out. Wildcards cover all the domains, all the subdomains, including the root domain. SAN multi-domains are a little bit more advanced. They cover as many domains as you'd like within the same company. They're cost-effective for medium to small to medium businesses. Certain environments certain hosting companies don't allow you to add many SSL certificates, so these are a good choice for those because you could use the same certificate for all of your sites. One thing about this is that if someone knows how to view the certificate details, they could also see all of the websites that are being secured by this certificate. So if you're developing a site that you don't want to be live or anyone to know about, you might not want to use that certificate for that quite yet. You might use a separate single certificate for that until it's ready to go live. And the creme de la creme, the multi-domain wildcard certificates allow to secure up to 250 domains or subdomains. And they're great for any larger company with a complicated web infrastructure. They're one of the best solutions to consolidate SSL certificates and simplify the process. You don't have to remember to renew, 24 different certificates every year. You just have the one. So out of the validation levels, there are 3 common ones: DV, OV, and EV. So DV stands for domain validation. They're great for getting started with SSL certificates. They're great for general domains. They could be validated easily with a simple email that's sent to you and you click a link. You could upload a file or you could add a DNS record to validate. They're really cost effective. They're a good entry-level solution and they're good for companies that are just getting started, companies that don't have business registration documents yet, or short-term projects. OV certificates, organization validation, are the next step up. They have a bigger vetting process and they have a higher encryption type. There's 5 requirements for these. They involve validation, verification, and phone verification from the certificate issuer and provider. And then extended validation is the one that a lot of people are going after. You get the big green address bar that has the company name in the address bar. It's a premium type. It does take a little bit more to validate and get authenticated from the issuer. But a lot of the bigger companies do have these. Most of the trusted sites, you notice if you go to your bank website, oftentimes that would have the full bank name and the address bar, and then www dot, the rest of the domain. DV versus EV. DV again satisfies the browser requirements, but it's not a solution for everybody. It's good for basic sites, and unfortunately, phishing is a problem these days, and most of the time people that use phishing sites or create phishing sites like, PayPal-verify.com, they would set up with the DV because it's easy to set up. EV, on the other hand, they increase site transactions. They combat phishing because most people don't go through the process of that. They stay compliant. Some industries do require higher level of certificates, and it shows customers that you care about the security of the site. The report, let's see here, most of the phishing sites use DV while only 0.05 used EV. So it's very common to see phishing sites use DV. The benefits again of EV, they uplift the trustworthiness of the site that you're visiting. It makes the likelihood of actually conversion and transaction go up. Probability of new signups go up, and people actually share information or feel more comfortable sharing their information on the site. And as you can see again, you will see that the address bar has the company name in it, and 40% greater chance that people will be willing to make a payment rather than if it didn't have an EV certificate. Key takeaways, it's an investment, after all, into your company site, and it reduces risk of phishing attacks and other threats. And lastly, about Sectigo, we partnered with Sectigo. They're the largest certificate authority worldwide. They're formerly known as Komodo, but they've rebranded as Sectigo. They have over 100 million digital certificates issued, and they've been in the market for over 20 years. So most of the big companies use them, and they have a lot of different products for every situation, between the more simple DV to the more advanced DVs. All right, I believe we just breezed through these a little quickly, but we do have a lot of time for questions and answers. So let's take some minutes and go over these real quick.
Thank you, Yev. It looks like we have a question about, do wildcard certificates cover the root domain too?
That's a good question. In the past, they used to only cover subdomains, but recently they've made a lot of changes, and most of them do cover the root domain as well. But if you happen to have one that doesn't, it's really easy to make your www site the main one and make your root site redirect to that one.
Okay, perfect. And another question, it says, I manage multiple websites for my clients. What did you say are some of the possible concerns with getting a SAN certificate?
Well, if you're still developing a site that you don't want people to know about yet, the SAN certificate, if someone knows how to click on the information about a certificate, it'll actually list each of the domains that are covered by it. So if you apply the SAN certificate to a domain that you're still developing, it'll be listed in that. So you might want to use a separate DV certificate for that until you're ready to go live.
Got it, got it. Okay. So Melinda wants to know, how long does it take to get an EV certificate?
EV certificates take longer than DV, of course, since there is verification. It typically takes 5 to 7 business days, but in some cases it might take longer if there's issues with verifying documents or reaching someone on the phone, because that's a part of it. Someone has to be willing to take the call during normal business hours when they call to verify. But
and is that the one that you have to get your lawyer involved?
No, there's no lawyers involved on this one, but there are documents that you have to verify, and you do have to have someone available to just simply verify some company details by phone.
So if it were my company, I would be the person that would be verifying?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, it looks like Mark has a question. It says, I installed an SSL certificate for my website. Why does it still say not secure?
Well, there could be a lot of different options or reasons for that. If you're hosting with us, we'll definitely help you look into that. If you just installed it, there's a chance that you haven't told your server or set your server to use that certificate, or there's a chance that you have another issue like you have mixed content on your website, like images that are linked with HTTP instead of HTTPS.
Okay. And one more question about the EV-SSL. Do most people pass the verification? Like what happens if I can't verify properly and I don't pass? Do I have more chances to try again, or do I lose the funds, or what?
Oh, we're more than happy to help you if there's an issue with passing EV. There's sometimes, it's a matter of business hours being in different time zones, but we can help you try to pass that as much as possible. We work with the issuer to move that process along if there's a problem. And of course, if it's simply lacking business registration documents that it'll take you too long to verify, until the certificate is issued, you're qualifying for a refund. So there's no problem there. We could simply switch to OV or a DV type of certificate until you have those documents prepared.
Okay, good. It looks like Kevin has another question. He says, I use a website builder platform. So Kevin, I'm guessing that's like Wix or Squarespace or something like that. Can we purchase an SSL certificate for that?
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of those are kind of locked down. They do offer some basic certificates included nowadays. They used to not, but they don't have the interface to really upload a certificate or switch between certificates at the moment. That could change down the line, but as far as I know, most of the common website builder platforms don't allow you to purchase an SSL certificate like one from Sectigo.
Okay. Are there any more questions that we've got there? I think we went through them all. Anything else that you have to add, Yev? If it's my first website and I'm just creating it, what would you suggest for me?
DV is a great option. You could get started really quick and it's really easy to get it validated and going. There's a lot of options to get that validated within a matter of minutes. So to get started, DV is the way to go. And as you gain popularity and as you gain complexity on your website, then you could look into switching it up to a higher level one.
And so the DV, if I have like a shopping cart or some kind of online store, that's good enough to start out with?
Well, once you start actually putting that live, if you do have things to secure with the shopping cart like PrestaShop or WooCommerce, you would want to get a higher level certificate like a OV or EV.
Okay, so it's really basically just for the DV would just be really for making sure that we were not sending up those errors in the browser when someone were visiting.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to scare people off with those.
Okay, any other questions that we've got here? Let me check and make sure that, I've got another one from, looks like it says, I've heard SSL is difficult to install. So what happens after I purchase the SSL? What do I do then?
So the first thing to do when you purchase an SSL is you go to your hosting panel or hosting provider and generate what's called a CSR. That basically entails filling out some details, entering your desired domain name. It could be either the root domain or you could choose to be a subdomain. And once you grab that code, you would go back into where you manage your SSL certificate and paste that in. In terms of the validation process, then once you get the CSR going and entered, then it gives you the options of how you'd like to validate for the DV part. And if it's an OV or EV, you still go through the same process, but then you wait for the verification process with the issuer, with Sectigo.
Okay, so what if I'm hosting with 101 domain? Is that the same process? I'm still going to generate the CSR and do all that?
Well, we actually have automated a lot of the parts of the validation. So if you have a hosted site with 101 domain and you purchase an SSL certificate, it actually uses your contact information of your account and automatically installs the certificate, automatically generates the CSR, inputs it, and validates it. So it's actually a very, very easy process if your site is hosted with us. And even if it's a EV, we definitely have easy ways to help that get validated too.
So it's for all the different kinds that it's easier if the hosting and the SSL are together.
Correct. You still have to do the verification with that, but with the EVs, but the DV part is still automated, yes.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Let me just go through these, make sure that we've got everybody taken care of. I think we do. Anything else to add with that? Yeah. If anyone has any questions, who would they reach out to?
Well, our general number, you could reach out to us and just ask for the hosting department. Our hosting and security staff are always happy to help move things along with SSL certificates, answer any questions, and help you choose the right one.
And I'm only buying 1 year at a time, or am I allowed to buy more than 1 year at a time so I can cut down on the verification?
It depends on the type of certificate you have. Some offer more than 1 year, some offer 2 years. When you go through the checkout process, most of them allow you to choose more than 1 year, but it depends on the certificate type. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to call us and we'll help make sure you could get, if you'd like many years, we could help you make sure that that's ordered for many years if that's available for the type that you want.
Thank you all so much for visiting us, and we really, really appreciate your checking in with us. And have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Thank you so much. Bye.